Hey everybody, my name is No Socks. This is a different kind of video. I haven't done a commentary video before. I figured I'd give it a shot. Messed up my back sitting and playing games for too long. Not that much fun right now. So I'm taking it easy while it heals, and I figured I should still look over some of my games, VOD review, and see how I can improve my gameplay. But why not take you guys along this time? To introduce myself to those who have not seen me before, hello, welcome. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this and want to see more. But I am a Bucky main. I don't like calling myself a Bucky one trick because one trick to me seems one tricking in this game seems kind of pointless if you want to climb most effectively. And if you understand the concept of the roles and the character rather than just one or two characters, you can often find yourselves climbing higher and better. But Bucky is my go to. He's kind of what I've just defaulted to ever since I got the Lord icon because I got it early on enough. People seem to respect it, and I got out of the lower elos fast enough for people just expected me to one trick and carry. Kind of did. Um, I have 47 hours of competitive time in game with Bucky alone. Yeah, with or overall with Bucky alone, I have um, it's let me see 36 hours. So most of it has been on Bucky, but not all of it. I do flex on occasion, mostly stay within the DPS. Over both competitive seasons, I've reached the rank of Grandmaster. I plan on climbing up to the top 100 this season, mostly on Bucky, primarily on DPS, and then afterwards looking to compete and scrim and see where that can go with myself. Um, I like Bucky. He's very good. In competitive alone, I have 28 hours on him, 2.7 million damage. I like the way the character plays out, and I wanted to show you the elements that you may not have seen before, but I have seen in higher elo. I recognize there's quite a few high elo Bucky players. Wanted being probably the most popular of them all outside of the competitive players. Um, but I wanted to show you what a on my way up to Grandmaster, I had a very good set of 10 games through Diamond 1, and I had a game where I absolutely stomped. And I wanted to show you some of the power and effect that Bucky can do in your solo queue games. Most of the games I play are solo queue. And I wanted to show you every element that I used in a high elo solo queue game, higher elo solo queue game. The bands as well were rather interesting, but not too unfamiliar. I've seen all of these banned over and over. Banner for the Iron Man Gamma team up, and because Banner is just an annoyingly good tank. Cloak and Dagger, because Cloak and Dagger mains have been kind of flooding higher elo, and people are trying to kind of sort them out. Wolverine, because tanks hate him. And Namor, because Namor is an annoying character and has a lot of good counters to. Uh, there's a good counter to a lot of good characters. So let's get into it. I'm going to skip through the bans. This is all also going to be recorded in one take. I don't have time for doing a bunch of editing. One thing that is interesting to see, I am going to pause right here as this loads up. This is at the start of every game. I look at my team comp and I look at how I'm going to be playing, what my job is, and where I'm going to get most value. And also looking at how our team comp is kind of layered out. We have Loki and Rocket. These are two characters that are independently very good, but when played together in a 2-2-2 environment, you pretty much have no support ults. So the way you play is to just slaughter as hard as you can. You are hitting the gas pedal in this composition. You are pretty much always the aggressor. So my job then kind of becomes, how do I keep the people who keep the aggression alive? We have Panther, we have Strange, and we have Penny. Penny and Panther can do a lot of damage and add a lot of pressure separated from the rest of the team. Strange, if he goes up there, can be massively supportive. And I can play towards keeping Rocket alive or vice versa. And what happens in this game is pretty much I get ahead and just keep chaining kills. The enemy team, obviously, we don't know walking into it what they're going, but their team comp, if I were to kind of put it down, a good Panther and a good Magic should be able to just win them this game. It really does come down to a DPS diff between the 4 DPS in this game. And I think their team eventually gives up or swaps, has some stuff. Another thing I do is I wait for the rocket booster whenever he has this. This allows Bucky to get high grounds early, especially on a map like, I think this is not Spider Isles. I can't remember the name of this map. It's one of the Tokyo 2077 or whatever the hell it's called. Admittedly, I got scared by Spider-Girl getting up into her thing. That's what that shot was. I'm not even going to lie to you. But getting up here, I get a lot of high ground and pressure. I get a good scope of things, and most importantly, I can contest this opposite height across. I see they're on Magic, and then I hear Panther. If they both dive me up top, I'm going to have to drop down. If one of them dives me alone, I have an isolated 1v1. So what I do is I back up to discourage one of them to back off, so I have this isolated 1v1. Because one thing that dive characters have against Bucky is they have better mobility, which means that all of Bucky's skill shots become harder to hit or less effective in terms of his dash, because his dash is also a displacement for himself, a way to get out and evade. So dive characters tend to have the advantage when it comes to who's the aggressor. Bucky's always on defense whenever dive characters are involved. Another thing Bucky does to keep himself alive in 1v1s is cycle his abilities in a proper fashion so that he is counter bursting their burst while also pressuring back. It's kind of like parrying, but in the parry, you're also trying to do damage. And these micro trades are what win fights and what push forward on the game. So trying to get this ISO'd 1v1 in a ranked game, absolutely what you want to do. And I would say even in a competitive environment, I don't think a solo dive would be happening like this in a comp environment, so it doesn't really matter, but I still think they'd be playing for the same thing. And another thing is, I'm also within range of the turret, the respawn turret that's been placed down. I have nothing to fear. I have insurance. I have everything. I bait the fight forward. I hit a pretty nasty hook. I then, at this point, recognize he's bursting me down. I dash. I dashed to displace and play on the height because I still wanted to play there, but I ended up falling off, and that ended up being the better decision because at this point I didn't know that Panther's was his Q or not his Q, his E, his kind of like spin kick. It stays at the same like level. It doesn't go up and down. Plus dashing using an ability in this moment, it makes me harder to kill and it gives me shield. Plus it has a damage output at the end, which is why I'd rather focus on using that over my E, even though the E has a smaller cooldown. And by falling off the height and him following through and also falling off the height, he's burned all his abilities and he's falling into my team's backline. It doesn't matter if I get the kill, even though I do. I've set myself up for a massive fight. In the meantime, someone has broken the bell tower. There is a trick for that. If you haven't seen it, it will be shown later. We're up 2 during that fight. Our dive that was going on, making kind of 5v5s, was successful, so we're up 2 at this moment. I did not realize their support was this slow. I was just trying to pressure Thor off. Sorry if the audio is bugged. I guess I went so crazy. Just pausing earlier. At this point, I'm just breaking this open so that they don't have any sort of dive character way to get out, and we just open up the lanes. Our team comp is much better with longer sightlines, even though they have a storm. So at this point, I'm just kind of helping push the payload. Not push the payload, but secure the payload. And if they go for any dive, keep our supports alive. Keep this push up. Like I said at the beginning, talking about who's forward and who's back. At this moment, I recognize being back is better. And another thing I like to do in these moments, especially playing in the back, with Penny. Penny is a massive combo with Bucky when played correctly, because he can pull into the traps and secure kills. even on or just massive burst damage. I saw the magic go over to the side, and I like to prep hook because it takes 3 seconds, and the shield only comes off when you throw it, not when you're charging it. So it's a way for me to kind of bait somebody to walk up. I'll walk up, over aggress, quote unquote, and then bait someone into getting hooked. I did good damage, and then immediately backed out because I knew if I stayed any longer, I would get burst down. And I don't care about getting the kill there. I just wanted to make sure we got the kill as a team. Penny gets it, so we secure up. I miss my shots. And then I see their supports are low. And we've been steamrolling them, so their ult timing I know is not going to be up. One thing that Bucky is notorious for at higher elo that makes him very good, even though his ult seems very situational, because in theory, you want to get 6 kills every time you pop ult, but in reality, getting 6 kills when you pop ult with Bucky almost never happens without some sort of like Groot and one other like Iron Man ult combo that just allows to burst through all the support ults and just insta kill people. You're not really seeing that at these higher elo plays, especially in ranked. And the reason for that is because his ult provides a lot of pressure in the same way that Strange ult provides pressure. You have to look at it. If you don't look at Bucky ult and he isolates a kill, he will reset and get more value. Every time he ults, he is adding like a multiplier of damage that he can do each time. And it's a lot of damage with a lot of threat. And because you can stretch it out so long, you can just run a whole game with it. So in this moment, I recognize either by ulting, and if you look at my team, I'm the first ult. I got good pressure, good hooks, I was doing good damage. I have my ult coming out. I want to pressure this game and I want to steamroll it as hard as I can. So if I can get 1 or 2 support ults out or 1 support out early, and then we have 2 support ults, we can then just have a better support ult chain to counter aggress and run them down, because we also know their DPS haven't gotten shit. They're behind on ults everywhere. We're going to put pressure everywhere. So I'm starting right away. Now, I happened to kill the other person who was 1 HP that I didn't know, but it ended up working. We got both. I just wanted this Black Panther to have a bad day. I'm not even going to try to justify it. Out of my 2 targets as well, it was that and Storm. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that he didn't get away. He didn't get any extra value. I want to keep his ult down as long as possible, because if I can at this point, I'm starting to lap him in ults. So if I can get him low, get him out of the fights, get him no value, I can push myself to just massively win us the game and keep that pressure. Because if I can get 2 ults and they can stop them from getting 1, it's the equivalent of having 7 ults versus 5. Storm did make a mistake, which was go towards a building, and I wanted the kill, so I took it. That's literally me trying to break the building, and also because even though, yes, you could chain ult for more kills and whatever, like I just said, it's better for me to lap individuals, and the sooner I miss my ult, the sooner I start charging my next ult, which is another reason why I really think Bucky is a very good solo queue character. In the time you hover during Bucky ult as well, you have almost all of your abilities back up. Your dash is the only one that you won't, but if you wait 3 to 4 seconds, you will again. Once again, me trying to break the thing. And I start trying to break this because of the fact that our pennies moved up. That allows me to pull people into penny, play the counter dive, because they're still on dive tanks. I walk up to actually go hook this door, and at this time, Magic just decides that it's good for me to die. She puts a lot of pressure out, does quite a bit, and then I just realized what our Loki did. Sorry, he did something very smart. But I play the counter dive. I have to live because I'm next to my supports, and I also chained my abilities. Like I said, I actually don't know if I would have survived, or if I would have died if I hadn't chained through. This is a perfect example of cycling abilities to stay alive. So I get hit. Oh, I lied. I'm sorry. I had that wrong. I thought the armor went out once you threw it. The armor goes out once you press the ability. And that happened to just be the perfect time to counter burst. She hit me with the double burst, and during that time, I'm on a rocket right click. Um, but because of the combination of things, she doesn't get the kill off. I miss my hook, and as you can see, the armor's already out. I had almost like an eighth of a second, a quarter of a second there, where I was 40 some health, literally one shot, but I dash back, and I'm also dashing towards my rocket because his things do have a slower pace. But if I move into them, I'm getting myself closer. I'm healing. I recognize I'm being pocketed. I have no threats now. Magic just used all of her abilities. If Panther comes in at this point, I have my E to slow, which is one of the best things for Panther. And I know I'm on the um, respawn beacon. And I also know that Rocket's on me. And if Rocket puts down the team up, which he can only put down for me and himself, if he puts the team up down, I just do a shit ton of damage. I think he puts it down here anyway. So I'm perfectly safe. During this time, our Loki copies me to take the ult and kills the supports before they can get their ults to keep scaling the fight. So in essence, I used my ult to get us one free fight so that we pushed halfway through this point. And then he copied that. And since we had so much damage and eliminated the support so early twice, we were able to get all through second point without ever actually having a full fight. Magic gets 2 in the back in their back in our front. I pressure Black Panther in the counter dive. He dives one of the tanks, which is one of the worst characters you could dive. They both still have not gotten DPS ults. I'm 33% on mine. Their supports have ults. Our our supports don't have ults, but we have that weird comp. But we have some ults to kind of counterplay that. I go to hook whenever I see a magic use Q. If you right click for your hook, you can hit them coming out of the animation if they are close enough. You do have to be within 10 meters. And you have to have some pretty good reaction times, kind of be ready for it. Oftentimes, I'm waiting to hear or see an ability, and then I'm looking for it and flicking over to it. And I've gotten enough practice on most of the abilities that people play to catch them in their ults, look for animation timings that isolate them and allow me to get a lot of extra value. But yeah, she's going back. She happens to also put her clone down, her demon from the sword thing, or teleport, uh, fast enough that it actually ends up blocking my hook, which I learned that interaction from this game. So even in the games where you win, if you look past that, like I dominated this game, yes. And most of the times coaches would tell you, don't look at this, but just look at VODs, find interactions, study everything that you do, and you'll get more value. I am pressuring supports here because we have just respawned. I don't actually care about dying here because of the respawn timers. I want to make them use ults. I want to pressure them. I get good damage pushed out, I force a sleep, and I die. It ends up working because Black Panther's coming in and he's getting his kill, which is on one of the supports. So now he has his ult up. If he puts it on one of the other supports, he can trade his ult for an isolated support ult. And that way, now we have more ults than them, more meaningful ults than them. And we've traded 1-for-1. So 1-for-1 outside of our spawn. This is a very good play. Even though I died, yes, that means the sleep didn't get him. And there we go. He pops ulti, and Luna immediately has to counter ult, stay alive. They have now wasted support ult in our spawn. We're still going through the animation of walking through the initial threshold. This is a great usage of burning ultimates at the right time. They Luna got the right idea of actually stopping the cart from moving up. Thor goes in. I just came up though, so I have all my abilities. If he's going for the dive on me, I just dash out of the way. I always try to keep it. Whenever I know Thor has ult, I try to keep dash up. Whenever I know they don't have one, but we do. Whenever Strange has ult, I try to keep hook up for that to counter his ult. These are just things to keep yourself alive. Also, I did cut it a little close. You can definitely, he moves slow enough that you can dash out early. But I just I kind of flexed here, and I was a bit of limit testing. Dash out and then hook. If you are on the edge of his ult but not hitting, you don't need to charge it up. It hits within because it's like 7.5 meters of a radius from him on the ground, and it's 10 meters for the hook at no extra charging. Um, so I go for the hook, and as he starts running away, I'm pretty sure I E him. Yep, and by Eing him, I slow him, rendering him completely immobile and killing him off his ult. Now, I don't have any abilities. I have a Black Panther on me, but I do have infinite ammo and damage boost. So I start swinging my mouse. He also just missed, and then I hit 3 shots and it was over. I was so shocked by the Panther. You're not going to believe this. I was genuinely so shocked by the Panther that I almost walked straight into this ult because I was like, dude, what the hell is happening? And like almost just walked blindside into it. Slow, once again, works on Storm in her ult. You can actually reduce the value of her ult massively with a 5-second cooldown. Storm also knocks her out of the sky, if you didn't know that. I shot my hook too early there. That's why you see me flick on these E's, as I don't want her to think I'm looking at her, and then I throw my E to try to knock her out of the sky so that she doesn't strafe away from it, because if she is far enough away, she can't be hit by it if she's actually smart. I threw my hook too early on the magic. She was still going through portal. I tried to push her out of the way because I didn't want her to get access to the back line, and I ended up missing her. I hit my head, straight up, hit my head, but we were so far ahead at this point that now I was farming to get my 3rd ult before he got his 2nd ult. So, you know, if you lap people but you waste an ult, and if anything, I traded 1 for 1. That's my mindset. The reason I'm saying this, it is excuses. The reason I'm saying this is I don't tilt myself out of a game. Because if I overthink and I start beating myself up, I'm going to lose points. I'm not going to play as consistently. I'm going to start doubting my aim. So whenever shit like that happens, the first thing I do is I'm like, whoops, move on. I also do feel obligated that I need to counterplay it. I hit that headshot. It does get us more value. So I did, in my mind, I'm like, okay, traded 1 for 1. We're fine. Was it a good trade? No. It was probably one of the worst trades, but it was even, and even in a matchup where you're ahead is always okay. I got lucky. She backed up like that. I was charging it. I didn't think I could hit the Thor. But she backed up, happened to go through, and my crosshair was there. Sometimes that happens. I hit an absolutely crazy shift to knock her back into the penny mines. But I gave her just enough time for the ult window. And I recognized she was the only person who hadn't ulted yet. So I hit that. Yeah, this is what I mean by they messed up their comp. Like, they tilt messed up their comp. They're now 3 DPS, 1 support, and I just forced their only support ult out. I jump out of all of this because I didn't want to be there. It's like me at a party. I genuinely don't want it. Reason I didn't want to be there is exactly that. That was the most coordinated dive they had done yet, and they could have blown right through us by keeping up with it. But once again, we're right side of we backed them all the way up to our spawn, and we just traded ults very positively for us. I'm not worried about it. Slow him again. Going for the hook, pull him out, pinch him away. I unfortunately hit him over the thing, but I think we still get hit. We get someone else for it at least. I'm deaf and blind. That if he didn't make it because I slowed him, that would have been the absolute just creamer clip of the century. Unfortunately, he made it. Seeing him go that way did give me an idea. That's their Panther was throwing. Their Mantis was playing DPS. It's a good sleep. I was actually charging up a hook there to try to catch her. And she hit him. That was a pretty nasty sleep. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter. She's no support. Never mind. They swapped. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what they were doing. The moment they saw me, I hit the slow. I effectively killed the combination of their push. Thor's in, Panther's out, Panther goes in. I immediately know that he wasn't fully aiming at me because it looked like it went over my head. So I turn around. I almost catch him. He absolutely shits on my boy. He misses me, I think because I sidestepped because I lost him and I just got lucky. He definitely could have killed me there. But never panic in these situations because you never know when they're going to blunder. I dash forward and I'm doing this once again, cycling abilities to counter the dive damage. I went straight towards the health pack. That was my mindset. Go towards the health pack. Uh, Caught him. He died. At this point, I don't like pinging for heals. I walk up to the healers. But at some point, you have to. So everyone's popping ults. Now we've got a game on our hands. Everyone's doing stupid shit. I think I just popped my ult at one point. I don't even remember what I do. This was probably some of the worst I've played. I was gonna secure that kill and then I killed him. Then they had Thor. I played chicken. I have no reason to. I could just dash out sooner. That was a really bad play by me, and I ended up dying for it. But luckily, they, if I am not mistaken, just don't cap the point and get off. Pressure is pressure, I guess. That last bit was the worst play I did. Luckily, it was immediately covered up with the fact that I, you know, I got carried at that moment. Sometimes you can carry through a whole game, mess a couple things up, don't matter. Because you've been carrying, teams ready catch those things that you drop. So if you ever start carrying, you fuck something up, don't get mad at your team because they believe in you. And if you turn on them, they're going to be angry. They're going to be upset. They're going to feel betrayed. So if you really want to carry, don't tilt at your team and allow for them to tilt. This right here, this is the bell tower break. If you break the 4 pillars at the top, it breaks it. I like to go play this, not the bridge, but the side over here. I know I could do some stuff with the camera, but I'm not going to. I like playing that area with the staircase. The reason I break this is so that I have exactly this sight line at the early part. Look at me. I'm already charging ult. It's been 5 seconds, and I've already got a lead. That's how early I'm thinking. That's how far ahead I want to be. That's what I want to do. I go for a hook here. She goes for a good play. I don't know if she heard me charge it. Don't exactly. She may have seen it. This guy tried going in when I had infinite ammo on Thor. I think he's a little tilted. I miss. I lose track of her, but I do recognize my teammates aren't dead. So I decide to keep putting pressure on main, and then I realize that she's over there. I see her in a small room with a big sword, wanting to do lots of damage, and I was not about it. So I backed out of that like a coward. But all's well that ends well. We ended up trading positively. I just kind of kept equal pressure and kept equal space. I'm always looking around to make sure that I'm not getting counter-dove or have people coming out for me. The tanks are kind of walking up on their own, so I decided I was going to go for pressure on that. Panther's annoying, but he doesn't do a lot of damage to you if you just play your cards right. We pressure main. I have this very, very nice rocket buff. Come out of it, reload, check behind. Force out the tank. They're saggering themselves, but I don't want to let them know that. I have ult. Once again, I'm one of 2 people that has ults in this game, and that is I'm beating out a Jeff on support by 20-some%. So if you keep track 24/7, I went for a crazy flick there. I thought she was jumping me. I was wrong. I heard below. I saw her. I thought she was going to go for the health pack right away, so I go for the hook early. She burns her abilities, but I've stopped her from any potential dive in the back line. Meanwhile, our tanks were walking up and their DPS inted, so we end up getting an advantage. Magic dives Penny. So Portal comes out, but I wanted to really keep the pressure on. I wait for Luna to make some sort of overstep, give him enough time to layer it, and then burn both support ults just like that. Why do I do that? Well, 2 reasons. One, we have Penny, and I want them to run into our mines. Two, 29% ult charge. I'm already on my next ult before Magic's on hers. BP died, so before he can get his ult out in this fight, I'm going to farm a shit ton. And you know what their support can't do? She can't sleep me. And I can keep hitting her. She will instantly heal, which means I will always have a target that has ult charge for me. I am using her ult as an ult battery. They combo ultimates for the first time this game. I get eaten by my teammate. I get spit out by my teammate. Strange dies from overextending because they tried ulting 3v6, I think is what it was. Their support is back and staggering already. I get a crazy hook. I go for a shift here. This is one of the oversights I had, and one of the things that I had to recognize. Oops, don't do that again. I almost got myself killed because I do not have shift. I go to spam it and I go, oh shit, I panic, and then I just keep spamming shift. So it's like I should have it soon. I was right, my gut was right, but Lord above, I should never be doing that. If I'm not there, she just turns and kills me. But now she's out of abilities. I decide to walk up. I pressure BP, slow him down. Stops him from getting healed sooner. CC is always a good thing. I hold my hook until I see Magic. I miss. I think I missed every hook on Magic. I absolutely deserve to die there. I should never be looking at. Skipping forward. We end up winning this fight somehow. As I'm walking back, immediately shooting again. Looking at the old charge. Magic, 7%. Me, 86%. I'm above their 64% health at this point. I'm outpacing their supports. I have ult again. That was clean. I get slows. I get pressure. I miss my ult again. Yup, in a game where I steamrolled, I missed 2 out of my 4 ultimates. And never hooked Magic. Some games you are just gifted the win. I recognized I was out of cooldowns. That's a short charge that you can do. We will watch that again. This is some tech that you can abuse. The reason you do this is because it starts your cooldown faster. It's not instant, but you immediately, the initial dash that normally takes longer and locks you into animation and predictable arc, when shortened by going up against a wall, immediately procs the shift to go up, so you can burst your damage out even faster. That is what I was trying to do here. I hit her straight into the corner. She has a demon on me, though, so she ends up farming shield off of this play. She dashes out. I didn't know which way she went, gonna be completely honest. And my first instinct was protect the back line, so I look back. It's better to look back and be safe, because you never know, she might reappear in front of you. 2 reasons I look behind when I hook like this. 1, people don't usually walk into the hook, so it gives me a second to check behind while I charge it. 2, it makes it unpredictable of where or who I'm trying to hook in the main lane. Strange is walking up. I'm pretty sure he has ult. No, but he's positioning like he has ult. And it's 9 seconds left on the clock. I slow him because I want to make his life a living hell. Luna gives up. And Thor gets chased down like he's owed money. Game's over. Quick 3-0. Yeah, and the guy left at the end. He was very pissed. Good damage. It was a diff by everybody on the team. I'm not saying that, like, anything would have been one way or the other, but it was a pretty convincing game regardless. And it showed just the pressure of good fundamentals, as well as understanding your kit and understanding good counterplay and what kind of a counter pick on Bucky looks like in High Diamond Grandmaster. So if you enjoy the content, leave a comment. Anything that you think I could improve on, let me know. Whether it be content creation, upload schedule, or just, getting a sexier voice. I don't know how I'd do that, but I'm sure I could find a way. I will be streaming more often. I'm trying to get up to higher ranks first. I've hit Grandmaster again, though, so going up is going to be good. And I am, you know, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day. Peace.